So I wasn't planning on making another video today. I already made my channel update and thought that'd probably be enough. However, I was just scrolling through Facebook, taking a piss, idly minding my own business, when I came across a news story. And it's a news story that concerns me greatly. Now, what's the story? Well, as it turns out, the first FDA-approved CBD, which stands for cannabidiol, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong on that. But the first, I know for a fact that the article used CBD, so we'll just go with that. But the first CBD-based medication has been approved by the FDA for American use. Now, of course, the FDA can only legislate things in America. It can only say, this is legal or illegal in America. It's the Federal Drug Administration of America. So, what does this mean? Well, it sounds like a good thing. That's fantastic. Now we have a cannabis-based medication that is FDA approved. This means that now health companies can finally start competing again. Because up until now, the main reason we've had two things going on, which is high medical costs and an opioid crisis, is because most of the painkillers, most of the treatments for epilepsy, most of the treatments for a lot of different ailments and illnesses in America, most of them are treated by opiates and opioids, things that are based on opium or the chemicals that makes it up, basically. And as a result, we've had two things happening. An opioid epidemic with, things like tramadol, things like heroin, etc., becoming just so mainstream. And then we've also had a problem with high medical costs because none of those drugs are they're not as expensive to produce as they make out, but they're also not exactly cheap to produce. And in addition, there's no competition, and because of lots of reasons. But I'll get into that later. So I thought, alright, now we have a new ingredient that hasn't been really used before on a major scale. That's going to fix that problem. Now we have something that's not copyrighted yet. It's going to fix that problem. And now we have something that's FDA approved across the board. But here's the problem. It's going to cost. It's estimated It's estimated to cost consumers of this medication $32,000 a year. $32,000 fucking dollars. That's not pounds. That's not anything else. No, $32,000. Do you know how expensive a gram of weed is? Not that fucking expensive. For sure. And granted, you're not going to get the exact same effects because obviously CBD is a different, chemical than just what you're going to get from straight, eating edibles or smoking weed. But at the same time, it is so much cheaper for a consumer, the average consumer, to just go out and buy a couple G's when they want to fix this shit than it is for them to buy this medication, thereby eliminating its usefulness. But here's the caveat to that. And here's why I hated this. This article and this video was posted by Now This Weed, which is a Facebook page I follow on Facebook, obviously. And it mentioned something at the end of that video. With insurance, it could be less expensive than similar products found at dispensaries. With insurance. With insurance. Do you realize what that means? Do you realize how often I have to fucking hear that when it comes to prescriptions? With insurance, it's this much. With insurance. Do you know how many people don't have fucking insurance in America? A goddamn lot, that's how many. A goddamn lot of people don't have any kind of medical insurance at all. Why? Because they made it mandatory and they drove up prices, and the U.S. government has been making mistake after fucking mistake with their healthcare system. It's the worst. But the point is, there's always this caveat. It's not that expensive if you have insurance. Instead of being $35,000 a year, maybe it's only $3,500 a year, which still fucking sucks. That's still what, $250 a month, I think. 200 times 10. No. It's still. I don't know how, I can't do the math in my head, but it's still a substantial amount every month. So that's not much better, but even if it's 10% of what the original cost is, it's still a hell of a lot to be asking people to fork over. I'm sorry. It's a lot to ask people to fucking fork over. Well, I guess 10% of that would be $350, I think. Oh, fuck, what do I know? I'm not very good with big numbers. But whatever. The point is, it's very, 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 almost prohibitively expensive. And the reason is because insurance. The American government and the insurance companies have been in bed for so many years that it's unbelievable. Not only have they been in bed, but they've been making decisions directly on the behalf of each other. They jerk each other off day in and day fucking out. And it's ridiculous in this country. It is ridiculous how many people cannot get the medical treatment that they need because they're getting fucked in the ass by the U.S. government and the healthcare industry that threw us overboard 30 fucking years ago. This is one of the things I primarily hate about this goddamn place. It's ridiculous, the shit we have to put up with just to get basic medical treatment for illnesses. And you know what the CBD medication was supposed to treat? Epilepsy! Do you know how bad that is? Do you realize epilepsy is not something to fuck with? It's not exactly a great thing to have if you want to be a functioning member of society. I'm not saying you can't be. Obviously, there's plenty of illnesses that make it harder. That was an odd sound. But the sure as hell is one of them. Makes it harder. And that's my point. It makes it harder. And what are we doing? We're not making medications more easily accessible to them. We're not helping them out by making society a little easier to live in if you're epileptic. No! We're making their medication and the shit they have to do to get cures. We're making it a Schedule 1 fucking drug, which in America, if you don't know what Schedule 1 means, it means that it's classified the same way goddamn methamphetamine is. Smoke a bowl. Smoke a bowl, U.S. government. Smoke a bowl and then get back to me and tell me how bad weed is. Except you won't, because you're not going to even want to fight anybody. The only thing that could make the U.S. government stop having wars and stop waging war against its own fucking citizens would be weed, ironically. No, smoke a bowl of weed, and then take some speed. Don't do not at the same time. Smoke a bowl on Friday, do some speed on Monday. Tell me the fucking difference. Trust me, after you come down off the speed, after you come down off the weed and you compare them side by side, you're going to say, God damn, we really should have legalized this weed shit a lot sooner. Yeah, you are, because weed is fucking, amazing, first and foremost. And second, and probably not foremost, but second of all, weed is a very viable medical treatment. And third of all, weed is fucking relaxing. So that's one tenet that I hope you take away from this video. If you're a government aristocrat with a stick shoved so far up your ass that it's tickling your uvula, then please smoke a bowl, relax, and admit that, hey, maybe the pot smokers in the 60s got something right. Because they did. They discovered this amazing plant that relaxes people, and not everybody. Some people don't have very good reactions to pot, and that's understandable. But for most people, it's a good thing to have in their lives. Trust me, most Americans that smoke weed, you want them to be smoking weed. And if you only knew the people who actually smoked weed, you would not have this opinion of them that they're all, beach-dwelling hippies that live on welfare or whatever, which is probably only like 1% of the people who smoke weed anyway. Almost everyone I know who smokes is a functioning member of society with a decent job. So there you go. Take that, put that in your pipe and smoke it. That was a good pun. No, but getting back to the original topic, this happens every time. With every prescription medication, the FDA legalizes it, the DEA keeps it criminal so that the alternatives can't be used, and then they reclassify it just enough to where the pharmaceutical companies can sell it to you, but your local dealer can't sell it to you. And that's what's fucking stupid. The drug war in this country has got to end. But getting back to what I was just saying, one of the things in that step is where they hike the price up far more than it needs to be. Trust me, I cannot fucking talk. This drug does not cost no $35,000 a year to make. It probably doesn't even cost $350 a year to make, honestly. This drug probably doesn't cost shit to make because it's made from cannabis. And I don't know this from personal experience, but the people I have known throughout my life who did grow marijuana plants have said that it's one of the hardier plants. If you're going to try to make drugs, it's one of the hardier and more reliable plants to raise. It's not like trying to harvest shrooms where you have to go out into a cow patty, like a fucking a field with some cows in it, and go out to a cow patty and see if the mushrooms have formed yet. It's not like that. It's pretty reliable. You plant the fucking seed and wait for it to grow, I guess. I don't know what the process is, but I know it can't be that hard because it's certainly a popular drug and it's very easily accessible. Anyway, point is, this drug cannot cost that much to make. Just logic and reasoning. Use that, you'll realize this drug cannot cost that much to make. So why the fuck is it that highly priced? Why? I saw in the Now This video, it said to compete with the price point. No, you don't match the fucking price point. You lower it. If someone else is selling X drug and let's just talk, epilepsy again. Let's just say that company X is selling a drug that can take care of the symptoms of epilepsy for $300 a year. And then company Y is selling a drug that can fix the symptoms of epilepsy for $3,000 a year. Who's the consumer going to choose? The $300 one. So what does the other company have to do? If my camera will focus again. There we go. What does the other company have to do? Lower its price point. It has to compete with the price point. So if you have two companies selling two basically identical products or products that are equally as helpful in the pharmaceutical industry, and one is selling theirs for 10% of what the other was selling there for, they're going to have to lower their prices. You don't raise your prices to compete, you lower them. Sell them at what, this drug is made out of materials that are cheap enough to where they could probably sell it at a 100% markup. So say it costs $10 to make, they could probably sell it for $20, and that would pay for the cost of making the drug and give them 100% profit, which is good in any business model. So let's just say it costs $10 to make after everything, one pill, and they sell it for $20 a pill. There you go, $100, 100% profit. And if they're only marking it up 10%, I'm confident that this drug would still be significantly cheaper than anything else being offered on the market for the same kind of thing. And that's what needs to happen. We need to get away from the system of let's just price all our medications high anyway because insurance will help out those who have it, and the ones who don't will, collateral damage. And here's why. People are dying from this, number one. And number two, the main reason that the pharmaceutical industry should be going after solutions for the high cost of medicine in this country and should be looking at weed as a source of not alternative medicine, but an alternative source of, medical breakthroughs and of, curative properties. The main reason for that is its cheapness. It is cheap as fuck to make. That's the main reason. So what is the point of hiking up the price? Why not just take whatever's available right now? What the weed-based stuff is more effective? Well, you obviously don't care about saving lives, or you wouldn't be charging, or you wouldn't be charging consumers an arm and a fucking leg for your product if you're concerned about saving lives. So what the hell does the effectiveness mean to you? It's cheaper to make? Well, then you should be able to price it cheaper. Give me a reason that this should cost as much as the other, and I will eat my hat. And just because everyone says I don't have a fucking hat, I do have a hat. I do. I do have a fucking hat. See, I have a fucking hat. And I will eat it if anyone can show me one good reason that this should be priced as highly as it is. But since you can't, this is John D. Lambert signing out. Please like, subscribe, whatever the fuck you do to videos. I don't know. Thank you for watching. This is the point.